Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for Taurus in the month of November 2018. What's up, Taurus? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a lovely Halloween if you celebrate. Hope you guys have a fantabulous... Oh, I saw a car turned over here. Hold on. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you end up celebrating here in the States or wherever you might be in the world. If you like to eat turkey on Turkey Day, cool. I hope it goes well for you. I had the Justice card flipped over. Not going to use it, but that might be significant to some of you. So some of you might be dealing with a Libra, or you might have issues with the justice system, legal issues, contracts, things like that. But regardless, it didn't fall out on the table, and I didn't notice it before the general read, or excuse me, the main spread was out. So we don't incorporate it. And if it needs to come back out, it'll come back out. Anyway, so shuffled for your main spread there. You're going to find it. You're going to find it there. It's right there. What I'm going to do now, shuffle for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. There'll be a timestamp for that in the description box below. Also down there's information on how to get a personal reading with me if you are ever so inclined. Let's go ahead and get your outcome now. Taurus, November 2018. Taurus, November 2018. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. And let's go ahead and flip what you have out here. Ooh. Okay. Alright, please show me Taurus in November 2018, please. Please show me where Taurus is in November 2018. Please show me. Two. Got it. Alright, Taurus, coming into November 2018, you come in as the Two of Swords. So, a lot of you guys are feeling a little defensive, a little guarded, a little... For some of you, I think you feel like a little unable to really process exactly what's going on. You're blinded. As you can see, she's blindfolded. So either a situation is blinding you, or there's details that are blinding you or that you're not aware of, and therefore you can't make a decision, or you can't necessarily make up your mind in some cases. In others, I feel like you feel you're backed into a corner, so you're in this defensive posture. You feel as if someone or something is trying to force your hand or force you to come to some type of conclusion that you're just not ready to commit to. So this is going to go in all kinds of ways. You'll have to plug this into your life however it fits. But basically, the Two of Swords is about not seeing a situation clearly, like I said, being blindfolded or blinded by details or particulars or a person. And it's also about, like I said, being guarded. She's got those two swords in front of her, so that's defensive because a sword is a weapon, right? And it's also defensive because she's closing up, or she's blocking off access to her heart, or towards her chest, or towards her sort of her central area where she might be quite vulnerable. So there's this idea of locking it down, shutting it down. Nobody's getting in, and you're not letting anything out. It's, in some cases, this is like a stalemate energy where you might be encouraged to make a decision and you're just not ready to make a decision. And so instead of going in full-heartedly and doing something irrational, you shut your mind down, you shut your heart down, and also at the same time, you're not allowing yourself to be influenced by outside energies or outside people. So, like I said, stalemate. Nothing's coming in, nothing's going out. Everything is sort of where it's going to be for the moment. And I feel this is highly defensive. I feel that this is definitely like, in some cases, this is residual, or this is because of residual energy or residual situations where, excuse me, you've been hurt, or something has dismayed you, something has upset you, or something has boggled your mind, confused you, and you just want clarity. You want to be able to see clearly, no matter what you see, good or bad or ugly. You just want to see it clearly so that you can move forward. But because you know you can't, because time, circumstances, other people, you know that everything that you want to know can't be revealed to you just yet. Maybe even at all. Maybe it will never be revealed to you. So for some of you, you're kind of like, well, to hell with it. I'll never know the truth, or I'll never know the full story, or I'll never get clarity or insight into the situation. Therefore, I'm not going to move forward or backward or up or down. I'm just going to stay right here. So again, it's like very defensive. It's very much, I'm not going to let myself be vulnerable. I'm not going to let myself be taken advantage of either. I'm not going to give my energy to something, but I'm also not going to allow other people to lead me. It's like, it's very, it's sort of like, what is that phrase? Offense is the best, defense is the best offense, or however that phrase goes. Offense is the best defense, or defense is the best offense. Whatever that is kind of what I feel. It's like you're doing two things at once. As much as you're not allowing something to come towards you, you're also not going towards something else or someone else. Does that make sense? Like, it's a weird, like this. Like, not truly going way forward, not retreating, not going straight to the side, not making lateral moves. It's like being within like this confined yet safe space. Okay? And you're weary of it. You're weary of doing... You're weary of moving. That's for sure. You don't want to make a false step because you don't know the full story, and because you don't want to risk getting hurt, and you don't want to risk, in some cases... Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Bless me. In some cases, you don't want to risk being hurt. In other cases, you don't want to hurt anybody else. That's for lesser of you. I feel for most of you, it's like you don't want to be hurt, or you don't want the situation to become hurtful to you plus other people. You want things to be copacetic as much as possible. And I feel that there's like, this is yes, positive. This is like, Okay, so from where you are in this Two of Swords position, where you're starting, you kind of have this ability, to an extent, to see your different options and the different people or aspects of people's personalities that are kind of affecting the situation. But again, you don't see everything because you're blindfolded, but you see enough. You see, not enough. You see a lot, but just not everything. And I think part of you, it's like a nosy, if I knew it all, then I could just make this decision right now. But because I don't know everything, I have to work with what I've got. So it's like this energy of being where you are and seeing what you can see and working with it. Even though truly deep down inside, you want to see everything. But of course, nobody can see everything. Nobody. So from your position of being blindfolded or being blinded by certain aspects or certain specifics, you're able to see your options, and you're able to see other characters and other people that are affecting this situation, or affecting you, or affecting the relationships that you have, whatever. And one of the things that I think you see clearly, because it comes directly underneath you, is this Death card. Card of Scorpio, so there might be a Scorpio of significance in your life, but it does not have to be. But what you see, like I said, because it's right underneath you, so I feel you can see it straight ahead. Death is about transformation. Sometimes the literal transformation of mortal death, but it's more philosophical. It's more of a sort of like a metaphysical application. It's about transformation, about change. It's about moving from one phase to the next phase, or a totally different off the cuff phase. And it's usually from a deep place. Because I'm feeling the need to talk about the characteristics of Scorpio here. Scorpio is what's that? The 9th house? 10th house? 9th house? 9th house, right? Yes, 9th house. Why am I getting stuck on this? I believe it's the 9th house. Anyway, and that's the house of death. It's a house of endings, or excuse me, not the endings. Death, the underworld, the occult, things like that. All that stuff is very deep. It's very heavy, right? It's not to be taken lightly. It's not to be looked at lightly, or it's not to be ventured into, like sort of willy-nilly, haphazardly, like, oh, look what I stumbled upon. This whole book about the occult. And it's not to say, like, you can't have a general interest, or like a, let me Google, this subject. It's not like once you explore aspects of death or the occult or esoteric things, or, ancient understandings and philosophies surrounding the underworld, that you can't do it just to do it because you're waiting in your doctor's office or something. You can do that. But what I mean is, when this card comes up and when you encounter the energy of a Scorpio, or the energy of Scorpio itself, it's very intense. It's not something that you can just say hi and bye to. If you get involved with this card, or with the energy of this card, you gotta mean it. Because, death is inevitable and death is forever. God, why am I saying all this? Clean this up, please. So basically, Taurus, for you, this transformation, because again, it's more, the overall energy of the death card is about transformation. So whatever transformation you're able to see for yourself, or see as a possibility in your circumstances, whatever change, transformation, whether that be of yourself, the circumstance, the people you're surrounding yourself with, or the attitude, whatever can be changed, transformed, it is forever. It is so significant. There's no going back from it. Okay? So if this is a matter of changing a job, I've been with a job, I don't care how long you've been there, 6 months, 2 years, 15 years, I don't care. When you get away from that job and you go to another job, it's forever. You're not going to go back to that job. Your opportunity to go back will no longer be there. Your desire to go back will never be there. Whatever. If this is about a relationship, I don't want to be with this person. Or there's a certain dynamic between, let's say it was you and your child. Maybe I don't see it here, but maybe there's sort of this codependency between you and your adult child for some of you. You could have a child who's in their 20s, their 30s, whatever, and you cut them off. That could be what this transformation is. I'm cutting you off financially, son. I'm cutting you off financially, daughter. If you make that decision, it's forever. You cannot go back. Okay? It's deep. So the energy of Scorpio and the energy of the death card is permanence. Permanence. Okay? And you see it as a possibility, whatever this changes. Getting rid of a relationship, getting rid of a job, changing a dynamic in a relationship, changing a dynamic at your work, or doing work within yourself. Changing things about you, changing your attitude, changing your physical body in some cases. If you go through, if this is like a surgery, if this is something to do with like gastric bypass or gastric lap band, whatever it is you're doing, and you want to do that, there's no going back. I mean, I think the band is a reversible surgery, but I don't think it's advised. But if you do that, it's very drastic, and from what I've read and what I understand is it changes you forever. So if you're used to eating, a huge serving of food, you do that after that surgery, you will get sick. You will make yourself ill. Your body can no longer process food in that quantity. Therefore, you have to change how you eat. Does that make sense? So whatever change you're looking at as a viable option, you see it straight ahead of you. Like boom, 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 boom. It's so significant. And if you do it, you don't have to, but if you do it, there's really very little chance that you can go back. I mean, everything is possible in tarot, but I'm feeling this idea of either you would adhere to it, because Taurus, when you make a move, when you go through a door, there's no turning back. In a lot of cases, you're like, oh, I left that whole thing back there. You know, so when you move on from something, you usually move on and you don't go back. If you ever go back, if you ever become a repeat offender in whatever situation or circumstance that applies to you, you intended from the jump to go back. It's not like you could be convinced to go back. It's not like the circumstances could have changed so much that you change your mind. You're a fixed sign. You're a very strong-headed individual. You're very much willful. You do care, and you do have a lovely side to you. You do have a very amorous and very effusive side to you. But when you have had enough of something, or you no longer desire something, you no longer see how this person or this situation or these people or whatever fits into your life, you cut the ties and it's over. Unless you left one of those ties intact. And you would have intended that. This particular death card, or excuse me, the presence of this death card in this particular reading gives me the feeling of this is one of those moments where, oh, you mean it. You mean it. Whatever change that you're going through, whatever transformation that you're going through, whatever change or transformation that you are about to go through, that you are setting yourself up for, once you do it, it's done. It's done. And I'm saying it very kind of, I feel very animated. I'm already animated. I already talk with my hands. It's something that people tell me I do all the time. But I feel like extra with it. Like I feel extra. Like I'm about to step out in a big way. I'm about to make a dramatic entrance or a dramatic exit in a big way. I'm about to do something so big. Huge, okay? Nice little joke there. But that's how it is. It's like, you won't even believe what I'm about to do. This is you speaking, Taurus. I'm about to do this. You have no idea, but I'm about to do it. And when I do it, that's it. It's over. Or that's it. It's beginning. And there's no turning back. Whether you're beginning something, whether you're ending something, whether you're moving into something else or getting out of something, that's it. And you see that as a viable option. It's right in front of you. But it's not your only option, or it's not the only thing in play. I feel a lot of you are very attached to this transformation. You're very attached to this change, or the potential behind this transformation, the potential behind the change. But you've got other things to consider, and other things that might be affecting why, or when, or who, and what that transformation will be. I feel that this is reaction. Not reaction. It's responsive. It's not reaction. It's responsive to this. So you've had a situation, Taurus, on either side of this potential change, potential transformation that you may or may not do, that has been influenced by the Three of Cups in reverse. So, Three of Cups, like all the other threes in the deck, can indicate third-party situation. Doesn't have to be infidelity, doesn't have to be a cheating situation, but it can be. Third-party situations are basically about there's a dynamic between one or two people or one or two energies, and then there's this third thing that's interloping, interfering, causing static, causing chaos, disruption, and it's just inconvenient, right? But this is in reverse. So this is something that has passed. This is something that out of the corner of your eye, as you can see from your Two of Swords position, this is in the corner. Out of the corner of your eye, in the peripheral, you know what this is. Either you were a third party or your partner had a third party. Again, it doesn't have to be infidelity. It could just be your partner had like a gambling habit, or your partner had, this is the Three of Cups. So your partner had a big social life that they were tending to. They like to go out on the weekends, and you're just like, can't we just sit at home and watch some Netflix and chill out? And they're like, no, I'm going out. And that was their third party, is that they put their friends ahead of you in the relationship. It doesn't have to be cheating. So if it's, don't get stuck on, oh, my partner never cheated. Okay, fine. What else did they do? You know? Or if you are the third party, if you're the person, well, I never cheated, I was loyal. Well, were you showing attention and affection in your relationship like you needed to? And again, it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. This could be family dynamics. This could be you were not holding up your end of the bargain in terms of being a present and consistent parent, Taurus. If you were the third, or if you were the person that allowed the third party energy to interfere in your relationship with your children, then you had that issue of going out and not being at home taking care of your kids. Or you had that energy of spending your time or your money with other people or other things and not giving it to your children, or not paying dues to your responsibility. It can go any way. This is a general reading. You fit it where it fits. And if none of this applies, this reading is not for you. Please come back next week, or excuse me, next month. Now, it's in reverse. So it isn't always the opposite of what an upright energy is. Sometimes it's a lesser energy, or it's a past. I feel like this is significantly past. I feel that this is like coloring in the background of the storyline for you, Taurus. I feel that this third party thing has lost its luster. It's not as exciting anymore, or it's not as impactful anymore. So if someone, you or someone else, had a third party situation where they were out there living it up with their friends, having drinks, going out to dance and doing all that crazy stuff, and that was great, but now it's not great anymore. Or if this was a situation of cheating, whoever did the cheating is now like, oh man, well, that's no longer fun. Or for the person who's affected by the third party situation, you or whoever else, it's just not as hurtful anymore. It's not as embarrassing is the word that they gave me here. For some of you, it's no longer as embarrassing. So it's just less. It's diminished. It's bubbling, not bubbling. It's like fizzling out. Thank you. That's the word, fizzling. It's fizzling out. The effect of this third party situation, the effect of this good time basically turned bad, or it's just not exciting. Whoever was out having a good time, fulfilling their desires, fulfilling their deepest, darkest, in some cases, most lustful things. And it doesn't have to be sex. Lust doesn't have to be, well, I guess traditionally in the description it should be about sex. But I'm feeling it's more carnal. Like, carnal, I guess it's also sexual. But for some of you, it's not sex and it's not a relationship. For some, it is this idea of adrenaline rush. Is like, okay, I'm not going to go out and cheat on my wife or cheat on my husband. I'm not going to go out and have an affair, but I am going to go out and be social with people who are not my spouse. I have children at home that need me or that would love to spend time with me, but I find that to be tedious, and I would much rather go out and hang out with my cousins. You know what I mean? Wherever that joy was found, that element is fizzling out. And it's stabilizing in a way in that it's losing its appeal, it's becoming routine and predictable, or it's just done with. That's in your peripheral. It's not super affecting you, even if you are the person that did the stepping out, or you're the person that wasn't responsible towards your kids. You're basically going to come home with your tail tucked between your legs, or you're going to come to this realization of the grass was not greener, or the grass is just as green, so I risked this whole thing for something that was quite similar. Why did I take this risk? I had what I had on that side of the fence with the green grass, and then I jumped over the fence and got over here. I was like, oh, this grass is just about as green as what I came from. The thrill is gone. You see this, again, in your peripheral. It's at the corner of your eye. And I feel, Taurus, you seeing that is kind of like annoying. Like, I knew that. Like, because it's in the corner of your eye, you know it's there. It's like an annoying thing, or like, I don't know if you've ever had this, like you kind of like get like those flitty little lights or like bubbles that kind of go in the corner of your eye, and you look towards the corner of your eye, but it goes away. It's like it keeps interjecting itself into your normal field of vision. It's like this thing, and you keep looking over there, and you're like, it's nothing. It's like insignificant. Or when you look, it disappears. So it's there, but it's not there. I hope that makes sense. And the other thing that you see out the corner of your eye, next to your fabulous and permanent change, and I'm saying fabulous because I feel that you feel this change as significant and as deep as it would be, and in some cases how scary it might be, because death is scary. Scorpios, or the energy of Scorpio, can be scary. You're just like, bring it on. Yes, I'm doing it. Yes, I want that. So as weird as it might seem, you are like looking forward to this. Anyway, so the additional thing out the corner of your eye is the Emperor card in reverse. Card of Aries, so there might be an Aries of significance in your life, but it does not have to be. And this is a person who, again, it doesn't have to be an Aries, and I don't feel this is mostly you. I think this would be someone absolutely external to you. Possibly a father figure or even a grandfather figure to you, but again, it doesn't have to be. But this would be someone who's basically off their, okay, this person normally would be stoic, normally would be in control and very kind of brooding and kind of rules with an iron fist, but does so in a way for the betterment of those he holds dear to him. And it does not have to be a man either. It can be a female. But this person's energy is in reverse. So whatever control they had, they don't have anymore. Whatever ability to kind of throw their weight around and be influential, they're not influential anymore. In some cases, the Emperor can be intimidating, can be, like I said, ruling with an iron fist. So for some of you Tauruses, this is a person who was ruling over you, or at some point they thought they were, or you allowed them to. There was, Taurus, you can be controlled. Let's be honest, you can be. But similar to how I said here, you don't do it unless you allow yourself. I'm not going to close that door or make this huge transition unless I choose to no longer turn around. Same here. You're not going to be controlled. You're not going to be ruled. You're not going to be influenced unless somewhere inside of you, you co-signed on that. So for some of you, I'm going to be a little rude right now. Some of you allowed someone to be a dick to you. You allowed them to take advantage of you. You allowed them to treat you as if you were just a part of their dominion, that you were just like, not a peasant, but like, you were just like, you're lucky to be here under my rulership. Why don't you pipe down over there, Sally? It's kind of like the attitude I'm getting from this card. It's like, you're lucky I let you be in my presence. You're lucky I let you live with me. You're lucky I even talk to you. Someone like hit you with that energy, some of you guys. Like, okay, Taurus, why don't you calm down? Because I could easily do this, that, and the other, and you would be this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? Like, they're really kind of cocky. They're really kind of, like I said, they were being a dick to you. But again, this energy is reversed. So they have had their comeuppance, okay? And that's a little bittersweet for you, Taurus, to see this person have their comeuppance. Like, they're not totally deprived or totally down and out. They're not, the card is reversed, but their situation isn't purely reversed. What is reversed or what has changed is their influence and their dominion or control over you. That has dissipated. That has been released or relinquished or destroyed. They might still have that attitude. Well, who do you think you are, Taurus? You're lucky to be around me. They might still have that attitude, but it doesn't affect you the same way, okay? And in other cases, it is that they have lost a certain amount of control. They have lost a certain amount of that dynamic or stoic energy about them. Excuse me, not dynamic, but that stoic energy about them. Their veneer or their mask has sort of fallen down. This mask of I'm in control, I'm powerful, I do what I want, and I do it even if it's harsh, it's for the betterment of everybody. Like, they kind of lost that resolve. Like, a lot of them have really softened. So like I said before, for some of you, this is a father figure or a grandfather figure or some older person, not necessarily a male, but an older person who kind of has that hardened my way or the highway, or in my day, this is what we did with children who got out of line. I don't know where that voice came from, but that's kind of what you're dealing with. And so in that sense, maybe some of you have a father or a grandfather who, you know, has been kind of counseling you or influencing you or encouraging you to raise your children a certain way, maybe with like corporal punishment or something like that, or, you know, certain ways of treating your kids, and you've been following their ideas, but now you're like, hold on, Dad, hold on, Granddad, I don't think that's the way I want to raise my kids, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And they're like, well, I told you. And I don't know where this voice is coming from, but that's kind of what I'm getting. It's like, I told you, if you let those kids do this, then that'll happen, you know. And they're just kind of like sitting over in the corner mumbling to themselves, I told them about those kids. And nobody's really listening to this person anymore, or you're not listening to this person anymore. And you see them, they're in your peripheral. Similar to the Three of Cups. You see them, they're there, but they're not there. Like, they're really not influencing you. So these are like the things that you see clearly. You see these things clearly, I think. The things that you see less clearly is this Hangman and this Page of Wands, as they're right next to you. So if you imagine, if you're facing a wall, like I'm facing a wall right now, what's directly to my left and what's directly to my right, which is over here on this side of my hand, at my parallel level, I know what's there, I know what's in my room, but I can't see them clearly. I'd have to turn my head to the left or to the right in order to truly see them. I'd have to change my position. But like I said, you're not changing your position. You're in this holding pattern of defense. And you're just like, I'm not looking that way. I'm looking straight ahead if I see anything at all. You know, if she can see anything at all, with this blindfold on, she probably could see very, like, blurrily, I guess is the word, in front of her. She could only see the Death card, and maybe the Emperor, and maybe the Three of Cups. Now these other two, right next to you, they're there, and these are like the elements I think that you don't see that might be influencing you or might be options for you to align with. Okay, Hangman in reverse. Now the Hangman in reverse is very interesting because I feel this is one of those cards where when it's in the upright like that, he's a cool dude. When he's like this, he's a little less cool, or rather the energy is a little less cool, I should say. So I feel the Hangman is about patience when he's in the upright. You've got him in reverse, so it's feeling like impatience. It's feeling like not polished or not compassionate, not considerate. It's feeling pretty impulsive. And that might sound good if you can't see that. But maybe that's something that you're not recognizing about yourself. That you are being impulsive, that you are being without compassion, that you are kind of lacking this reflection, because also the Hangman can be about reflection and meditation. So some of you are perhaps so focused on your transformation that you're kind of neglecting the small things. The Hangman, when he's in the upright position, is actively embracing every moment. Big moments, small moments. Minutes that fly by like that, minutes that feel like an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, you know what I mean? He embraces all of it and appreciates the nuance of it. When he's in the reverse, there's a lack of appreciation, there's a lack of in some cases camaraderie or brotherhood, sisterhood, this feeling there's a disconnect between you and your reality when he's in the reverse, like he is there. So, Taurus, for some of you, you are sort of not recognizing that something that you're doing or something that you're not doing isn't fully acknowledging and appreciating your situation or the situation surrounding you. So I feel this energy, this card and this energy is like, it's a part of it. It's not overall. It's not like touching the entire reading, obviously, but it is there is this sliver of it where you could be nicer, you could be more patient, you could be more, for lack of a better word, docile, and you could be more expanded. Okay, like I said here earlier, you have like this straight line to the death card, to that great change or transformation that you feel is paramount, that you have to have it. So you're kind of not ignoring, but you're not able to fully take in that that your fixation on that is lacking a certain amount of calmness or collectiveness in your mind. There might be also an issue of balance in your heart space, your head space, your sacral chakra, things like that. You might be misaligned in terms of that, in terms of your energy centers or your chakra centers, okay? And I don't feel that it's incredibly impactful, because again, it's not even in your peripheral. I wish I could like have like a little diagram that I could pop up there, but I don't have time to create such a thing and put it there. But again, you see this straight ahead, the death card. These two are in your peripheral, the Three of Cups and the Emperor. The Hangman is right next to you. Again, you'd have to turn your head left or right to see him, to acknowledge that energy. But you haven't done that because you're blindfolded and because you've got those swords in front of your chest, so you're just not moving that way. So some people might be accusing you of that. Maybe it's me. Sorry if you feel that way. But some people might be confronting you with this energy. Like, Taurus, you seem to be a little more edgy. You seem to be a little bit more, agitated. You seem to be acting more impulsively. And you might be like, I heard what you said, but I don't give a damn what you said. And you might be kind of defiant against people presenting you with this interpretation or this perception of you. I definitely feel this is more you. It could be someone that you're dealing with. It could be for some of you, but I feel it's mostly you. So if it is for someone who's external to you, let's go ahead and quickly acknowledge that. It could be that you're dealing with a person, your spouse, whomever, who is impulsive, not listening to reason, not taking the time to weigh out their options or think clearly about a situation. They kind of act on, like I said, their impulses, what they want in the moment, and they're not taking the chance or taking the time to appreciate the full scope of the situation or the full scope of the relationship. You know what I mean? So someone isn't really, they're not chilling out. Like the Hangman is usually pretty chill, and he's coming from a place of enlightenment and trying to be more, like I said, compassionate and aware in the situation. And this is like, I don't care. I don't need to be aware. I feel fine doing this, and I'm not going to be challenged to think otherwise about it. Now, the other energy that you can't see clearly, but is like right alongside you, and if you turn your head, you would see it, and you would be able to kind of engage with it, is the Page of Wands. Page of Wands, so a potentially younger fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but it doesn't have to be. It's really more about the energy of the card, and so this is a youthful energy, and it doesn't have to be a young person. This person can be in their 60s, but they're a page. And it's about vigor, vitality, adventure, spunk. And this could be something that you want to align yourself with, or that you could align yourself with, but you're not really allowing yourself to. But for most of you, I think this is someone external to you. So there's someone in your midst who is like I said, young, full of life, very spunky, very charismatic, kind of a smart ass, kind of a smart aleck, can be a jokester, but ultimately is full of life. Like, it's kind of like a weird and slightly dated reference, but I get like a Bart Simpson kind of feeling off of this person. Like, a lovable scamp. Like, you're such a little rascal, you're such a little pain in the neck, but I still love you, or I still have affinity for you. Or this person is challenging and kind of like I said, a smart ass, but in a playful way. Like, they kind of get away with it. Like, they might joke and say things that are really inappropriate or really potentially offensive, but they make up for it like 2 seconds later. I love you so much, but you're kind of, like, this is them talking to you, or them talking to someone else, and you're witnessing it. It's like, oh, you're kind of a blah blah blah. Like, they might say an insult, but then quickly follow it up with a compliment. So, and it's not intentional. It's just like they mean it. They mean that you're this negative thing or this not so great quality, but then they also name a good quality to kind of partner with it, and they kind of make a big deal about. Not make a big deal, but they definitely are able to acknowledge that a person, or you, Taurus, have good qualities and bad qualities, and they love you just the same, which allows you to love this person, lovable scamp that they are. So, going back to Bart Simpson, like, he antagonizes and he basically runs his parents ragged, and he really gets under Homer Simpson's skin, but Homer loves his son. Like, you never really question that they love each other, but they will drive each other crazy. They will go and choke each other out, but they still love each other. So there's that energy there. But again, this person is like next to you, and you can't see them clearly. Now, what I'm feeling is this person would be someone that you want to be close with, but you can't be close with for some reason. Could be your child, could be a friend, could be a love interest. I feel that if you gave your energy to them, this is what you feel. If you gave your energy to them, you would then end up with something like this again. If I get involved with this person, they're going to turn into this again. So it could be the same person, but I don't think it is. If I get involved with this Page of Wands, it's going to be another situation where I lose myself, or I lose the control I have in my life, or I lose my autonomy, I lose my sense of self, I lose my heart in some cases, or I lose my money in some cases. It's just like I would lose, because this person is such a firecracker. This person is such a loose cannon. And the interesting thing about the page is really nothing to fear in terms of the court card. It's the lowest court card. You've got page, knight, queen, king. So the page is nothing to fear. So this person's bark is probably worse than their bite, and you might be overthinking, or you might be like so nervous to turn your head and look at them, but I don't think that you should be. And again, these are like viable options, or these are things that you could acknowledge, that you could pay attention to, but you're not. These are in your peripheral, you kind of see them, you acknowledge them, you know their involvement, or you know their impact, and this is what you're dead set on. This is what you got your eyes, nose, everything is fixed on this death card. Your six senses are honing in on, I just need to change, I just need to get on with this new phase in my life, I need to make these transformations, I need to make this investment, I need to move here, whatever you're trying to do. You're so fixed on that all of this is kind of like, it's around you, but you're like a dog with a bone. You're like right down the middle. So yeah, options are there, but I'm not sure that you're going to entertain any of them. Or there's influence there, but I'm not sure that you're going to let any of it in. Like I said, you're in this defensive posture. Nothing's coming in, nothing's going out, but you do have your eyes set on this transformation. Okay. Outcome for November is the Fool card. So, I mean, this goes hand in hand with what I just said, and it goes hand in hand with basically your focal point, the death card. Transformation. Biting the bullet. Jumping off the cliff and saying, to hell with it. If I land and I crack my knees, that's it. I guess I'm kneeless, and I guess I'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Or I might land on my feet, I might do a little, somersault roll, and then I might get up and go down the path and do whatever. The Fool card is a card of risk. It's a card of going forward, charging forward, of making moves towards whatever you want, whatever you desire, and not really bothering about what might happen. It's just about, I gotta do it. And I have to let my worries go. I have to let that baggage go. The baggage that he carries, very minimal. What's that? A satchel? Or what do we call that? A satchel? Knapsack. That's what it's called. A knapsack on a stick. Can you imagine in modern day carrying around a knapsack? Not a book bag or a backpack or a messenger bag or a piece of luggage. Just a knapsack on a stick. People would look at you like you're crazy. But that's exactly the energy of the Fool. He's kind of crazy. He's kind of off the cuff. He's kind of, a man or a woman. Doesn't have to be, a gendered thing. This is a person that is making their own way in life, and they're not gonna be held back. Very, very, very much a card about stepping out on faith, on having the luxury of ignorance in a way. The luxury of ignorance. Rolling the dice. Maybe I'll hit craps. Maybe I'll hit and I'll rake in the pot. You don't know unless you roll those dice. So that's the energy of the Fool. And that's your outcome. So I feel that no matter what you do, no matter what you choose, no matter where you go, there will be a risk involved, Taurus. Will it come out in your favor? Maybe. Will it not? Maybe. But I think the Fool energy is on your side in the sense of, if you feel like you're willing to take that leap, if you feel you're willing to roll those dice, do it. Don't hesitate. Do it. So there's that feeling of don't hesitate. You're hesitating here a little bit in the Two of Swords. Like I said, you're in this holding pattern. You're a little defensive. But when this opportunity comes, sometimes the Fool is about an opportunity with another person, with certain circumstances. Not with another person as in, the opportunity to be in a relationship, but the opportunity presented by another person. Or the opportunity presented by the circumstances itself, or you befall certain fortunate circumstances. You hit, the lotto for like $1,000 on a scratcher, and so that means you can take a vacation. Take the vacation. You're like, but maybe I should put $1,000 away. If you've been dying for a vacation, if you feel a trip to the Bahamas in the dead of winter is exactly what you need, do it. Do it. Okay? So whatever you might be, I don't know if this is right, if the opportunity comes, if the stars align, or you feel compelled to jump. Okay? Take the risk is basically what this is saying. Take the risk. What the results will be, I don't know. Nobody knows, or at least nothing here is presenting it. But I think there's this alignment for you, or there's this draw, this pull for you to be more loose, to be more let loose, to be more unbridled, unchained, set free. So get with it. Your overall energy for the month, King of Cups. Might be a water sign of significance, a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, but it does not have to be. King of Cups is a person or an energy that is dutiful, loyal, caring, but not overly effusive. Aware of their emotions, aware of how they feel, but not overly expressive about it, not, shouting from the rooftops. This is not like Romeo or Juliet. This is not some great romantic protagonist. This would be, what's his name? I don't remember. I can't remember. Anyway, it's sort of like in Jane Eyre, which is not a book that I loved, but I read it and it was okay. Anyway, it's like the lead male character in that book. I can't remember his name. Where basically, I hope I don't spoil anything. If Jane Eyre is on your list, turn off now, because I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. But basically, Jane Eyre is like this young thing. She's plain or whatever, but she's attractive for some reason to this guy. and he can't put his finger on it. And he probably, like this King of Cups person, and similar to the character in Jane Eyre, is someone who doesn't realize they're in love until it's almost too late. Like, they've had these feelings, this attraction for a long time, but they don't verbalize it until almost the very end. At least a third or 2/3 of the way through the book. And I'm like, come on, guy, I've known this about you since the second time I've encountered you in this book. Why did it take you till this point to admit it? So this person would be slow to admit out loud to others how they feel about a situation, or how they feel about a person, or how they feel about themselves, or whatever. They might be aware, self-aware, but they're not going to spout it out to others, okay? Again, not from shouting from the rooftops, not bursting out into song in the middle of a movie or a musical and being like, I love you. You know, it's not like that, no. And again, it doesn't have to be a romantic situation. This could be about anything. I love my job. You know, they're not going to say that. But they are aware. And again, they have deep ability to be affectionate, to be effusive. So in a lot of ways, the King of Cups is a catch, because you know he's loyal. And it doesn't have to be a man. You know this person is loyal. You know this person cares deeply. But if you need them to express it to you every single day, don't get involved with them. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic. This can be a friend. This could be a business partner. If you need your business partner to constantly tell you all your ideas are fabulous and that you're brilliant and that this business is going to succeed, or, you know, this endeavor that you're embarking on is going to be the greatest thing ever. If you need a cheerleader, don't look for the King of Cups. Look for somebody else. So that energy could be yours, or it could belong to someone else. But it's overall, so I think that there's this steady, like a reservoir, like a dam, like the Hoover Dam. Like, I don't even really understand how that works, but you know that thing, if it burst, it would be incredible. And a lot of crazy crap would happen if that dam were to burst. So there's this idea of holding strong to this emotional aspect, or this emotional capacity. There's a huge strength in this person, in you, or whoever this is. And I think it's a resource to have that strength, to have that deep ability to love and support and be affectionate. But if you need like a flowing river of water, if you need an ocean that comes into, you know, the tide comes in and the waves crash, if you need there to be active, like an active water system, not a dam, you know, where it's held back and it looks kind of steady like a lake. If you don't want that, don't mess with this person. Or if this is you, you might need to calm yourself. That might be the advice. Maybe you're being too much like a river or an ocean, and maybe this is like, be like the Hoover Dam and calm down a little bit, Taurus, okay? All right, that is your reading for November. I hope you guys found something interesting here, or something was helpful to you. If that is the case, go ahead and leave me a comment below. I would love to read about it. Or you can send me a message if you don't want to leave it out there in public. I'll read it no matter where you put it. Also, feel free to like the video if you liked it. Share if you feel there are other people who could benefit from the message. And of course, if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. I would love to have you on board. And yeah, I will be back in a few weeks' time when I do your December general reading. Until that time, I thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.